Making $1 million is super difficult, and in this video I'm gonna review a Shopify store that recently did $1 million in one single month. That's 1,000 of these bad boys right here. Yep, this is a real one. Now my name's Arie, and I don't know about you guys, but I learn best from examples. So this is why today I'm gonna try my best to dissect this entire business so that by the end of it, you'll know exactly the steps you need to take to start your own business like this. So without further ado, here is the store. It's called Crown and Paw. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of it. I recently heard of it actually from one of you guys' comments, which I really appreciate, by the way. So if you could just do me a really solid favor right now, if you have any stores that you would like me to review, make sure that you drop them in the comments. And while you're on your way down there, make sure you go dish out a quick tap on that thumbs up button for the Christmas spirit. Merry Christmas to all of you guys, by the way. Now this store right away, one thing I noticed is their branding is very clean and simple. If you don't know what this store does yet, basically I'll read you their main headline here, which is turn your pet into a Renaissance masterpiece. Upload a pet photo and we'll do the rest. They almost make it sound like magic, but their process really isn't that complicated. In fact, there is another YouTuber named Chris Conradi. I don't know where he's been, but he's made some amazing videos highlighting this exact business model, which is basically print on demand customizable products. Now just to show you the power of this business right here, I'm gonna open up SimilarWeb, which is a tool I use to look at the insights of a store. And as you can see, all year they've been steadily gaining monthly visitors. So in June they did 255,000 monthly visitors, so 250,000. Then they increased it in July to 283, then in August 352, and in November, which is last month, they were able to achieve 1.5 million monthly visitors. So with that amount of traffic going through their store, the estimated revenue on this month was easily over $2 million. But I'm not trying to clickbait you guys. Obviously I care about you and I don't want you to think that you're gonna make $2 million next month or anything. I mean, maybe. Now this exponential graph right here is pretty satisfying to look at. It's actually really cool that they've been able to do this. And you know what? They also really capitalize on the fact that this was the biggest Cyber Monday, Black Friday weekend in the history of online sales, in the history of e-commerce even, and Shopify. So they really didn't hold back one bit, and clearly it paid off. So we're gonna look at all their ads, all their social media, but first let's browse this store a little bit. I wanna look at their best-selling product, which is this particular one right here. This one has over 1,500 reviews and they're charging $60 per piece. So as you can see, they have some amazing product images here, and clearly they're able to do more than just dogs, which is actually really clever. Expanding their product line to other pets is genius, especially because that way when it comes to advertising, which you'll see they run a pretty ridiculous amount of advertising, they're gonna be able to test and target so many different things, which is super cool. And by the way, if you are not a Shopify store owner and you're just watching this for fun, I really commend you. Don't think that you're weird or anything. I find this stuff really fun too. You may think I'm a nerd or whatever, but I do genuinely have a good time when I review stores with you guys. And you never know, $1 million idea could come out of literally anything. One thing that's very clever is offering different canvas sizes, of course, because this way you can increase your average order value. And another thing I noticed is that they have a number of pets tab, so you are able to buy 2 pets or 3 pets or even 4 pets in one poster or canvas, which is really clever. I'm sure they developed this over time. Obviously, if I were to start a business like this, I would just start with just one product line, something like this, just with all the 3 different sizes. Now, you may be wondering, how are they able to do this at scale? And it's actually pretty simple. So you upload your image, and then they most likely have a backend team, maybe even from Fiverr. On Fiverr, if we look up pet portrait, we can find the same exact stuff. So literally right here, actually, we see this exact same portrait. Basically, they're having a 4-day delivery for $25. So 18 by 24 inches on their store. The 18 by 24, which is this one, is $100. So if they're spending, let's say, $25 to get this design made, let's say they spend another $25 making and shipping this thing, that leaves them with a $50 profit in the end. And I'd be willing to bet that they use a service like Printful, for example, which, by the way, you can easily integrate to your Shopify store with literally a click of a button to fulfill the canvas orders. So for example, here what we can do is we can go to home and living, we can go to canvas prints, and here we go. An 18 by 24 print is exactly $45 with Printful. So that means that they print it for you, they ship it for you, and they provide you with the canvas. So however, I'm not exactly sure what service they use for this. Maybe they use something cheaper, or maybe they just found a local warehouse or something in their area that was able to do this, or a local business that was able to do this. But regardless, this is 100% possible for anybody to do. You just need to sort of set up these moving pieces, like communicating with a designer, and of course then relaying that into Printful integrated with Shopify. So something like this, even though it seems extremely complicated, and on a first glance when you look at this you're like, wow, what an amazing business, this is so genius, and it is, but it really is a lot simpler than you may think when you just really start dissecting all the moving pieces. And this is what I love about the current digital age that we live in, is that anybody could start any sort of business and be able to really pursue their dreams. Honestly, you could fill in the blank of pet portrait with literally like any portrait. You could say, for example, like cartoon portrait, and you could, you know, do something like this, for example, or something like this where you'll draw somebody in an anime character or something similar to that. But literally you can just use your imagination and fill in the moving pieces. And if you commit to a business like this, the upside is very, very high, because the barrier to entry is obviously a lot harder with something like this than it would be with just AliExpress dropshipping. Now, one thing I want to make clear is that they do a lot of stuff on social media. So they are constantly posting on Instagram, Facebook, and more importantly, Pinterest. So if we look at their traffic distribution, we see that almost 90% of it comes from Facebook. So what that means is that they're running hella Facebook ads. And when I say hella Facebook ads, I really mean it, because right now we're looking at the Facebook ad library, which is where you can actually find the ads that any brand is running. This is actually a tool provided by Facebook. It's 100% free, and it's made just so that brands have more transparency. And this brand, like I said, is running a ridiculous amount of ads. I mean, look at all these different ad variations that they're running. This is actually so impressive, and it's kind of a really good reminder, not only for me, but maybe for you guys as well that do have Shopify businesses, to test out more creatives when it comes to your advertising, because it's so easy to get caught up in just like running one ad and, you know, getting good results initially, and then it dies out. So then you kind of give up, you start losing money, when in reality, all you need to do is sort of allocate more money into actually testing brand new creatives, so you can always have something that's working tremendously well, and that you don't run the risk of your whole store dying out because one ad died down. And yeah, like literally I've been scrolling for like 2 minutes now. Okay, that's an exaggeration, but I've been scrolling for a while, and I just now reached the end of this page. So that's pretty impressive. They're running a pretty crazy amount of ads, probably more than most brands out there, even like big brands. And this is obviously one of the keys to their success, is the amount of ads that they're running. So truthfully, I'm not exactly sure how profitable they are, and that's the one thing that we'll never really know with these private businesses. But regardless of their profitability, I mean, of course that's important. They were able to build a massive company, so there's really no hate that I could dish out on this whatsoever. This is super cool. Let's actually take a look at one of these ads, because I'm really curious to see what they're doing. When you find the perfect gift. I'm assuming this is not their best performing ad. It's a little confusing. I mean, if I was, you know, a pet owner, I'd think that's kind of funny, but I wouldn't really know exactly what to do with that. This one is a lot better, because this one you're actually showing the product. I think this one's better. This one's actually kind of funny. That was a really good ad. So see, even just this is such a good example, because these ads are very, very similar, but this one just has those slight differences that, in my opinion, make it so much better. This is why it's important to test different variations of stuff, because, you know, you never know what actually will perform better. And I could be wrong. Maybe this one is performing better than this one, but if they didn't test both, then, you know, you'd never know. And then another thing I want to mention is that their Pinterest is driving over 5% of their total visitors, which is pretty unreal. So I actually took a look at their Pinterest, and you know, they're actually doing pretty great on here. They're getting 6.6 million monthly viewers, so that's basically organic reach that they're getting every single month. You know, one key thing here is they're probably running a little bit of Pinterest ads, but most of this is organic, just through them posting a ton of different pins and running ads. I've actually tried out Pinterest ads and I haven't found them to convert very well, but I have found that running that Pinterest traffic through my store seems to help my store overall. I'm able to convert some of those visitors that visited from Pinterest with Facebook or via email or via Instagram. So this is kind of what it means to be like an omni-channel brand, and especially with the new iOS update that's coming really soon, which if you don't know about, I'll link you to a recent video I made covering it in detail in the description. But it's going to become more and more important for Shopify business owners to become omni-channel brands, meaning running advertising and just being present in many different channels and not just focus on one, like Facebook, for example. And of course, it's always important to continue building your organic reach. This is why they're doing so well. And this actually makes me really hopeful for their profitability, because if they are driving a ton of organic traffic, that's traffic that they're not paying for. And another thing I should mention is that they're actually running traffic from YouTube as well. So when we look at their traffic distribution again, we can see that almost 4% of their traffic is actually from YouTube. And I'm not exactly sure what kind of ads they're running on YouTube, but I would guess it's something along the lines of what they're posting on their YouTube channel. And some of these videos, you know, for example, this one 5 months ago has almost 7,000 views, which is actually pretty fire. I mean, that's a good amount of views, especially if it's organic. And it's just good social proof for the brand in general. So overall, this is an extremely impressive Shopify store, but not extremely difficult to set up initially. Obviously, the most difficult part of this all is just scaling it to these levels. But theoretically, you could set up a shop like this basically in like a couple hours if you just find the right Fiverr supplier or designer. Even maybe if you're a designer, you don't even need to do that. You can just skip that step. Then all you need to do is open a Shopify store, set up Printful, set up these canvases, and basically just start going in on some of these designs. I'm sure they have a big team, and that's how they're able to post on so many different channels. This would be almost impossible for someone to do on their own. I mean, definitely not impossible, but I'm sure a lot of you guys don't have all the time in the world. And at the end of the day, who wants to spend all their time working? Not me, that's for sure. That's why I love e-commerce, because you can set up systems and run things sort of automatically so that you don't necessarily have to be, you know, putting in work 24/7. I'm not a big part of that movement. I definitely like to have my own chill time every once in a while, but this is extremely inspiring. And as you can see, all of their different social media pages are definitely getting a lot of traction, and especially their memes. I mean, look at this. This meme had 21,000 likes. That's amazing. That's so much free reach just by posting content related to their brand on their page. Super clever, very smart, and really not rocket science. It just takes dedication. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video and learned something from it. I'm definitely feeling very, very inspired. And let me know in the comments of any potential stores you want me to review or any content ideas you may have. It really doesn't matter. Just make sure that while you're on your way down there, that you give a little Christmas tap to the thumbs up button. And of course, subscribe with notifications so you don't miss any of my videos. We're posting every week, and I couldn't be more excited for what 2021 has to bring. Love you guys so much. Merry Christmas, and I'll see you in my next video. Peace.